We can use checkbox group widgets in our apps to change the sets of measures displayed in tables and charts. In this example, we'll load all the measures from our dataset into a checkbox group so that when we select measures, both the table and chart that have already been set up in our app will change to reflect the selection. We'll also add a set of buttons to work in conjunction with the checkbox group. We'll start by adding a label to prompt users to select multiple measures. Now we'll reposition the text object. Next, we'll add a series of buttons to set the selected measures, remove all measures, and set all measures. The last widget we'll add to the canvas is the checkbox group itself, which we'll rename checkbox group _ measures. We'll also resize the widget and remove the initial values of value 1 and value 2. Now we'll add a couple of script variables, which are global variables that can be used in multiple locations in the app. The first script variable will be an array that holds all the measures from the data source. While the second will be an array that contains the measures selected from the checkbox group. Next, we'll create a script object to define what will happen when measures are selected. We'll rename the folder Utils and the function setMeasureFilter. We'll also add an argument to the function called selectedIDs. We'll leave the type as the default of string and set it as an array to hold multiple values. Now we can write the script for the function. A new tab opens where we can build a script to define what happens when the function is called. We can get assistance by pressing Ctrl+space, which brings up a list of objects and methods we can use to build our statements. In this example, we'll start by adding a statement to remove any dimensions already set in the table. We'll select the table object, add a period, open the Content Assistance again to select the getDataSource function, add another period and the removeDimensionFilter function, specify the account dimension from the data source, and end the statement with a semicolon. We'll also add a statement to remove any measures from the chart, add the measures selected in the checkbox group to the table and chart, and finally save the selected measures in the current measure filter selection variable. Now we need to define what happens when the buttons we created are clicked. The Set Selected button will pass the selected measures into the setMeasureFilter function to update the table and chart. The Remove All button will remove all the selected measures from the checkbox group and pass an empty array to the setMeasureFilter function so that the table, chart, and current measure filter selection variable will be updated. The Set All button will set the selected keys of the checkbox group to the All Measures script variable and to the setMeasureFilter function. Finally, we'll define what happens when the application is first run in the onInitialization event of the canvas. Here, we'll get all the available measures of the table's data source, define a selected keys array of type string, and use a for loop to add the measures to our checkbox group and the selected keys array. We'll also call on the Set Selected Keys function of the checkbox group and set its selected keys to our array, and then set the script variable all measures and the measure filter to the selected keys. Now we'll save our changes and run the application. Here in the table, the original measures have been removed and replaced with all measures. If we click the Remove All button, the table displays nothing, while if we click the Set All button, all measures display again. If we clear the checkboxes for some of the measures, and click the Set Selected button to apply our changes, those measures no longer display in the table. When we switch to the chart, we can see that the same selected measures display. Thanks for watching.